What's up, everybody? It's AJ with Launchpad. It is Friday, March 21st, about 6:30 p.m. And I had to stay here in the office to record this video blog because it's been a while since I've reached out to you guys. I've been, Launchpad, we have just been so busy lately. It's been a crazy year. Our technology business is taking off. We're really working with a lot of great agencies to really do some exciting things on transforming workforce development, economic development. Just really, how do you transform the community by leveraging technology and business process? And then I've been extremely busy on the consulting front and then doing a lot of speaking and training. So I apologize that I haven't been able to spend time recording these videos, and I've kind of scheduled out my time to be able to do these videos more frequently. We've hired a bunch of people, so it's taken some things off my plate. So just want to let you guys know I'm excited about doing these videos, and you're going to be getting a lot more of them, I promise, here in the future. So I want to talk to you guys. Workforce development is really changing, and it's changing in such a good way because we are really becoming a smarter system. We're becoming a system that's really focused on business engagement, and we're starting this. I talk to people all throughout the country on a regular basis. My staff is talking to people all throughout the country in workforce development, and the number one thing we're hearing is that it's all about business engagement. And this has just been a message that we've been evangelizing for years, is that you can't get people back to jobs and back to work unless you talk to the businesses and you engage with the businesses. So one of the things I want to talk with you guys about today is, business engagement and employer segmentation. How do you engage with businesses? When I was a job developer and I was calling on employers on a regular basis, one of the things that I learned was that not all businesses are the same. Not every business that you call on, you can't treat every business that you call on the same way. You can't treat a small business the same as a medium-sized business, the same as a large business. You have to have different strategies, and you have to structure your agency or your program to approach these businesses differently. Because if you have everybody calling on big businesses or small businesses or medium-sized businesses and you're servicing them the same way, you're not being effective. And so on this video blog, I want to talk to you about how do you engage businesses from these different sizes: small, medium, large businesses. So one of the things that you have to understand is what are the different types of businesses in the different sizes. And so you have, let's talk, there's really three categories. Well, I'd say there's really four categories, but the first two kind of lump together. And the first category is the small startup. This is the company that's 10 employees or less, under $10 million, and they're really a scrappy company that really needs, these are the best companies to work for and to work with in workforce development, because the leaders in the company are accessible. You can work with their executives, and they're willing to take greater risks on hiring people. And when you're in workforce development, sometimes they have to take risks. Sometimes they have to hire somebody that might not have a proven track record, such as the big company. The large companies, they're going to take the best of the best candidates sometimes because these candidates want to work for these name brand companies. The smaller businesses are willing to take risks, and those are the ones that you can get to be more flexible in their rules and to work with you more flexibly. The other group is what I call the medium-sized growth company. And when I was doing staffing and recruiting and workforce development, these were some of the best companies to work for and getting large numbers of placements, because these companies, they were growing so fast, they needed to hire so many people that literally they would call you and say, send me who you have. Just send me your best candidates, send them to me right away. So the medium-sized companies, they're great to work with because they're taking off, they're starting to grow, and if you can get embedded with them and start to work with them, they're going to hire a lot of people from you because they need to grow fast, they need to grow quickly. And then that third set of companies is what we call the enterprise or the large account companies. And oftentimes we would have our most sophisticated business services representatives calling on these employers. It was either the executives, the CEO, the COO, the executive directors, the business services specialists. They were calling on these businesses because they had the track record, they understood these industries, and they were able to get access to the executives. So what you have to understand is really those three types. You have the small startup, sometimes mom and pops. The difference between a mom and pop though and a startup is that a startup is likely to grow to a larger company. It has the potential to grow from 10 employees up to 100. Mom and pops aren't going to do that. Mom and pops are really going to be 5, 10 employees or less, and they're going to stay that way for a long time. And so you don't want to spend a lot of time working with the mom and pops. In fact, what I used to do is the small and mom and pop companies, I would have my retail kind of inside team focused on them. So I wouldn't have business services or job developers really spend a whole lot of time with them, because you're only going to make 2 or 3 placements. And so I would have my inside team, the case managers or career services, work with those small companies and provide services to them. And then the medium and large companies, I would focus my business services team on, because they had the ability to make 5, 10, 15, 20 placements. So you've got your small companies, you've got your medium-sized companies, and you got your large companies. The other thing that I would also caution you on is be careful trying to call on all of the big, large companies and spending a lot of time there. You want to have your target list of maybe 5 or 10 of these companies that you go after, but you don't want to spend all your time targeting these large companies, because they're hard to get in front of. They have very tough requirements. They make you jump through a lot of hoops, and you may take 6 months to try to get your foot in the door there, and you may only make 1 or 2 placements, and it's very competitive. Doesn't mean you shouldn't call on them, but you shouldn't put all your eggs in the big company enterprise basket. You should have a good mix. What I would try to do is I would try to add 1, maybe 2 large companies to my business client portfolio per year, but I try to have the majority of my business being with medium-sized and small companies, because that gave me enough variety. It gave me enough versatility and differentiation in my portfolio that I didn't have to worry about 1 or 2 big companies making all of my placements. So what are some of the strategies for engaging in these different size businesses? Well, a couple of things. Each size company has different pain points, and if they have different challenges as a business, that means your value proposition, how you target that business, has to be different. You can't call on a medium-sized business the same way you call on the small-sized company. So let's talk a little bit about value propositions for these different sized employers. If I'm calling on a medium or a startup or a mom and pop, my value proposition may be to them that I can help them manage the hiring process. We can be their outsourced recruiter. We really can approach this on a relationship consultative approach. And also I can offer a lot of value through additional incentives like OJTs and on-the-job training, WEX, hiring incentives, those different things. So I might approach those businesses differently with that value proposition versus with the larger companies. Now, the medium-sized companies, they may have a different need. Their need is they've got to grow as quickly as possible and hire as many people as possible, and they're really looking for the right skills and the right fit. They need people quickly to get into those positions because they're growing fast. And they also need people that can be leaders in the organization. So I might approach that company, that employer a little differently. It's definitely a relationship sell, but you have to, the other important thing is you have to deliver service quickly. As a medium-sized company, they need to see candidates in 24 hours. You have to be able to deliver candidates to them quickly, because the likelihood is that they're working with 3, 4, 5 different employers. And then you also have to understand, you really have to understand their business need. You have to know what are their business challenges. You better be meeting with their executives, their management, the CEO, the CFO, the COO. You better be meeting with those executives in the company to learn their needs, because they're the ones who are really crafting the culture of the company and the type of people that they need to hire. And then the third category is the large enterprise. And these organizations are defined by structure, compliance. They're not very flexible, they're inflexible, and they need access to trained workforce. I would say that the large companies, one of the things that I think is the benefit working with large companies is that once you get your foot in the door, you're able to really start to send them a lot of people. So I would have clients that I would work with large employers, and once I got my foot in the door with them, they would pretty much trust my opinion in sending them more employees and more candidates. But you have to recognize that that relationship takes time to build. So if you're spending all your time with these large employers trying to get in there, you're not making a lot of success, and you're not getting a lot of placements because it takes so long to get started. But again, your value proposition with these large employers, number one, they're adaptable to the process. So if you can work with them and try to, coach them and say, look, we can adapt to your process, but we can also help streamline it. Secondly, you can bring multiple resources to these businesses. And this is what's unique and such a value proposition from workforce development is you can bring your economic development liaison, you can bring the community colleges to the table, you can bring the mayor's office to the table, you can bring a lot more resources to these large enterprise businesses and really be a one-stop shop for these businesses when it comes to human capital. So it's really important, I think, that you understand the difference between the small, medium, and large size companies and how you engage with them, because again, they're not all the same. And if you try to engage with them the same way, you're really going to spin your wheels in a lot of ways. So hope you guys find this of value. I know it's been a while since I posted one of these videos, but I hope you get a lot of value from this. And please make a comment on our blog and send me any of your questions that you guys may have. And you can always access me via email at ajenkins@launchpadco.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter, or you can hit me up on LinkedIn, Abraham Jenkins, okay, on LinkedIn. So hope you guys are having have a great weekend, and look out for the next video blog. I'll be posting it here soon. All right.